What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to the North End Podcast, episode 38. My name is Zach Graham, your host here on the North End Podcast, joined, as always, by my good buddy, on record as my best friend. It's Ian Michaud, a.k.a. E, a.k.a. Lee James, a.k.a. Sebastian Drew Easy, a.k.a. Easterdamus, a.k.a. Pap E. O'Daniel, a.k.a. Chili Willie, a.k.a. E. Jan Stonkel. E, we're in a tough place right now.
Yeah, for sure. I was expecting to wake up in a Mad Max scenario, given how our fan base reacted last night. So I'm grateful for that. Didn't have to break out my Humvee.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm exhausted. It was a long night. It's been a long day. Seeing everything that's been going on with the squad and the fan base and how people are feeling. But hopefully two idiots can provide a voice of reason.
I mean, that's what we try to do every time here on the North End Podcast, but especially today, sitting here midweek, mid-March. March Madness starts tomorrow, so I know you and I are both pumped for that. Middle of South by Southwest right now as well. So the fact that this much attention is being paid to an Austin FC game this week, frankly means that either something really good happened or something really bad happened. And obviously anybody tuning in here knows that it was the latter. So let's talk about it. Obviously, we were in studio a week ago discussing the first disappointment of this two-legged disaster that we just went through in CCL. And it's, I don't know, for me, it's a little bit weird that we're sitting here after a game we won the second leg, 2-0, but it feels so much worse today. And for me personally, I don't think it feels worse for me because of the way it feels bad for a lot of people. As you kind of alluded to, I'm pretty upset with our fan base right now.
Yeah.
We are some lunatics. Lunatics. So let's talk about it. Obviously, Austin FC hosting Violette last night at Q2 Stadium. All 14 players that they brought. So it's already coming in there. It's one thing to go to the DR and play in this neutral site on kind of, certainly short rest, maybe you could say short notice, and go with a team that, and I guess let's just start with the first leg. Let's rehash this just for a second.
Yep, got to.
Because obviously what happened last night was dictated by the failures of the first leg. And we talked about it last Wednesday, but I just want to reiterate, my issue with Josh Wolff came in the first leg, and it didn't necessarily come with who he put on the field, is who all was on the field together. I mentioned last week, I was disappointed in Josh putting out a lineup that we did not see play together in the preseason. We know not only was there going to be rotation, but there has to be rotation with this block of 5 matches, which we're about to hit the 5th one this coming Saturday in a 15-day span or whatever it was. But, we talked about it, right? That we hadn't seen that fullback pairing. Obviously, we were in a tough spot with what happened with Julio and Kip. And then we're playing Tarek. We're resting both Ring and Leo. I was disappointed in the players because we talked about that lineup. Even if that lineup is disjointed and doesn't have a lot of time together, they can still play a lot better than they did. And we can heap the blame, continue to pile on Amro Tarek, but we didn't score any goals out there either. Nope. And hell, man, at some point, couldn't we go out there with that squad and say, okay, we're going to play the possession game and make sure that we don't give up any goals, right?
Yeah.
Getting down 3, it was just obviously a huge disaster. So anything that you wanted to say about that first leg before we move into tomorrow night? Or last night, excuse me.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head there. The team we sent to the to the DR. How much were we favored? We were plus 2,300.
Minus 2,300, yeah.
Minus 23. I'm sorry, yes, minus 2,300. Yeah. So the team we took there was absolutely better than Violette, and they beat our ass. We didn't play well. I think a little bit's on coach for that, for the lineup. I agree. There was not any sort of continuity with that group of guys, but they're all professional. They're all professional MLS players. Like Tarek has experience all over the world. Lundqvist played, so yeah, inexcusable on the players on their end. And also just some really unfortunate shit happened in that game with Tarek that we know about. And we dug ourselves a mighty big hole to try to get out of. So yeah, I'm on board with you there. I don't think that there's too much more to talk about that first game because it was just such a disaster.
And I'm not going to sit here and say that the team should not have completed the comeback last night. I think both of us are very much in the camp that they should have, and they came up short, obviously, both just on the score sheet and just from our impressions of the match being there and taking it in. Like we just saw Atlas, right, who is having a tough season down in Liga MX. They were down 3 goals going into last night's match. And they got what they needed, and they did complete the comeback. So again, I'm not excusing the team not moving forward. Of course they should have. And through both legs, there's plenty of blame to go around. But coming into last night's match, which of course ended up 2-0 in favor of Austin. So they lose 3-2 on aggregate out of CCL. Our first run in CCL. Some people called it that. Some people got really upset about calling it a run, like Adrian Healy. I don't know if you saw that tweet, but I mean, he goes, run, ? Run, 2 question marks. Take this down. The night is embarrassing enough as it is essentially what he said.
Wow.
Very strong words.
Yeah, that's scathing.
And I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Because he's talking about the situation and not going in on any one individual, because there is no one individual that this failure is on. It is on the entire organization, the people who are involved in preparing the team for these matches, and very much on the players for not executing and getting it done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last night, stats obviously one-sided. Austin kept 76% of the possession. That even feels a little bit low to me. Like this last night,
it wasn't a soccer game.
It wasn't a game.
No,
it was drills. They're doing an offense-defense drill the entire game. Entire game. And credit to the Violette players for fucking battling. And look, for sure. I know this first 20, 30 minutes, we're just going to be jumping around from frustration to frustration. But credit to those guys for both legs, for getting through all of the adversity that they have not only faced with this competition, but the last few years, of course. You saw what it meant in the post-game interview with Steven Saba. These guys put their all into it, and they came out on top, and they deserved it. So, and now let's focus back on our household here. Okay. 76% possession, 35 shots to 6, 3 big chances missed for Austin FC. So before we talk about any individual players, the officiating, which the officiating did not stop the team from, that is not the reason they lost. They should have put some more of these chances away. I
mean, we could tell how tight we were.
Yeah.
They felt the pressure. They felt the heat, and us not getting one in that first half kind of just taking it off the shoulders. You go into halftime. Obviously, we were the better team. Obviously, we were playing an actual – and it's difficult, and it doesn't really matter who you play. When, you got to score 4 times, and they're just pressing, and they're letting you just throw haymakers at them, and we couldn't knock them out. We were definitely tight. It would have been awesome to get one before half and kind of have a little juice, going into halftime. But man, statistically, if you saw the game, you watched the game, it was really us just doing whatever we could to try to put one away, and we weren't able to do it.
obviously once the lid on the net was lifted off by Driussi, assisted by Emiliano Rigoni, by the way, anybody who said, like, again, jumping from frustration to frustration here, anybody who said something negative about Emiliano Rigoni last night, what were you watching? Like, it's a different conversation to, like, if we're talking about is what he did last night good enough and up to our standards of what a DP player should do and should produce. But that was by far his best game statistically. And I don't know if you could say, because like he didn't have to do much besides stand out there on the right and try to create, but he created the most chances on the team. Like you look at any of the player raters on FotMob or SofaScore or anything like that, he's top 3 on the team behind Seba, who scored both of the goals, and Alex Ring, who was phenomenal again in that center back role. So, like, I just saw so many people being like, well, what do we see in Rigoni? Is like, are you watching the games? What is going on?
No, it's crazy. Definitely Rigoni's best game. And is there an argument to be made that, like, is it good enough? We can go there. Obviously, it was an inferior opponent, somebody who he should be doing these things against.
Exactly.
But it was, you look at the not even just the FotMob scores or whatever we have you to look at it from an analytical side. If you watch the game, the 3 best players on the pitch were Alex, Seba, and Rigoni. And it just wasn't enough. This is like I'm trying to keep track here, but this is like the angry ADHD episode. I'm trying.
Another thing that made me mad.
And then I'm just like trying to remember the original question. I'm like, oh shit.
I don't even know if we have an original question. We're just venting right now. Let's talk about Coach Wolff, because we half jokingly we half jokingly before the season were like how many losses does it take? When do we hear people start saying Wolff out? Like, because we knew it was going to come at some point, because every team is going to go through a tough stretch in a long season that doesn't just include 34 league games, but 3 other tournaments. But now we're what? Look, especially after last night. What do you want the coach to do? The lineup he put out there generated 35 motherfucking shots. We finished 2 of them. It's okay. Look, talking to anybody who's saying Wolff out, look, I know it's hard. I know you love these guys. I know in our hearts, these are our boys. It's okay to put some blame on the players. It's okay. They will make it. They're professional athletes. We had no hesitation giving Kip Keller shit, giving Amro Tarek shit. And I'll give Botley some credit, because while on his reactions on both the Twitter space and on the YouTube video, the reactions outside of Q2, I didn't agree with 100% of what he said. Like this strike 1, strike 2 stuff. You can miss me with that. But I was really glad that when he was talking about the players not finishing their dinner, in his words, I very much agree with that phrase.
Well said.
He also mentioned Driussi. And I didn't see anybody criticize Driussi, who had 14 shots. And we've got people out here saying that Jossie Zardes missed a header in front of the net. Driussi missed like 4. So, like, again, I'm not like Driussi was fine he was fine. But nobody was good enough last night, because we had 35 shots and we scored 2. One of them just went through the keeper's hands. So I don't how in the world is last night, again, blame on Josh, a lot more blame on the first leg, a lot more blame. Last night, what are we talking about?
What do you want? What did you, I mean, like, we expected 5-6 goals. We predicted that on the last episode. And anytime you take 35 fucking shots in a game, you can expect to score more than 2, and we did not put those away. And that's not on coach. It's really just not.
He can't get out there and score anymore.
No.
Look, I think 80-plus MLS goals. Look, that's more than Maxi Urruti in his long career. Like, he can't get out there and do it for him. He put them in the best position possible, especially when there's 10 players inside the box on defense.
Exactly. That can't be understated either, is that they weren't trying to play an actual game with us. It was just as much as they could muck it up. as many stretchers as they could get called. Like that, the greatest stretcher performance in soccer history happened last night. What was the expected stretchers per minute?
Fucking xStretcher.
Oh my God.
Off the charts.
Absolutely ridiculous. And, it was, the pitfalls of success right now, right? Like,
expectations.
Just an incredible year last year, second place in the West, at the top of the table for a long time. And now we're here, and we just played in the largest, most important tournament that we have ever been a part of as a franchise. And yes, I am disappointed too. I'm not going to sit here and act like everything's all peachy because I got coaches back in this situation, especially when we're when we're just clearly outlining like 35 shot attempts.
Yeah, we're not. We
70% possession. We could not put the ball in the back of the net. And like I said earlier, you could tell the guys were a little tight and feeling that heat. So, man, frustrating. Yeah.
Well, and is it fair to question the starting lineup that did come out because we saw the same 11 where it's Finley over Diego? Sure.
Well, this is what's so fucking crazy is because Diego and Urruti played the first game.
Yeah, true.
They played the first fucking leg.
That's true. And they did dick.
You were upset at coach for playing Diego and Urruti, and then you want him to play them after they
failed.
Fucking nothing. They did nothing in that game.
But we're also not going to sit here and define any of our players by one performance. We're not doing that.
Absolutely.
But there's tons of people that are doing that about the coach and certain players, like Jesse Zardes up top. Like, holy shit! Okay.
The disrespect for Jesse is insane. The shit that I was hearing at the stadium last night,
bro. People there is no way unless Jesse Zardes did something to that man's family who was sitting like 2 rows behind us. That guy's got something else going on that he doesn't like about Jesse. It's not just about his play. Yeah. I don't know what it is. Anyways, just the specific North End take there. Sorry for those who weren't down there, but it's insane the hatred for this guy who is new, brand new. He just made his fourth fucking appearance. Just because he doesn't have a goal yet. Get him out. He sucks.
The league leader MLS for goals right now has 3. 3. Like what are we expecting from Maxi's got 1 goal?
Yeah.
Right? Like great.
Yeah, but Ian, Maxi scored in less minutes. So
good. Okay. Oh my goodness, man. But yes, I do appreciate the fact that you brought up the narrative being brought on a player. And that is something that I said after the Kip game, the game versus St. Louis, was that it's very easy to get this narrative attached to you. And that's why we kind of needed to get him back into play. And the stuff that we're pinning on, like, all right, well, so then we see all the time, like, is it also Claudio's fault? Because he signed Rigoni. And it's like, well, what? At what point? Like, oh my goodness, man. I'm sorry. Angry ADHD episode. Jump into fucking Claudio. Obviously, we'll get into that too. But yeah, and also Jesse he drew a PK.
Yeah. Was not called.
It wasn't called.
For CONCACAF reasons.
I know we're all disappointed. This has been a grueling stretch, and it has been awful to get booted out of this large tournament in the fashion that we have. And I know that we're the laughing stock on our MLS, and I know that MLS Twitter's all over our ass. Good.
Yeah. We must be doing something right to have so many fucking haters.
Exactly. I'm sorry that we had a really great year last year. And I know that we're new. Okay. Yeah. So I know that we're the laughing stock on those platforms right now, and everyone's giving us shit. Cool, man. It's the 5th game, right? It's the 4th game?
5th game for us. We've played 3 MLS matches.
I know.
And we're in fourth.
And we're in fourth fucking place.
We are in the exact same spot we were last year. And for what it's worth, also the same in 2021. So it's not like that's some sort of gotcha stat there. We were also bad in 2021 and still on 6 points. But so just getting back to Diego not being in the lineup, I would have liked him to start and play the full 90 because, again, like we talked about last week, for me, CCL is the most important trophy that we could have chased this year.
Yep.
And I expressed my disappointment about the first leg and that lineup and all that last week. So I also, at the same time, have some fucking perspective and understand that there's not just an MLS match coming up on Saturday, but a huge rivalry match, whether it counts for Copa Tejas or not. This team, we want to get 3 points, of course, every time we take the pitch.
Yeah.
But even more so going down to Houston this weekend. And so I understand that if you maybe play Diego 45 last night, then now he's back to full health after resting, coming off the bench at RSL in the elevation. He played 90 in the first leg, now only playing 45 last night. Now we probably get 100% Diego in terms of, the sports science guys looking at his metrics. Like, okay, he is full go Saturday. I understand that move. I don't think it helped us last night because I think there's no question, right, that having Diego on over Ethan Finley, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to have a better result. And then I also let's talk about the strikers because the ridiculous rhetoric around Gyasi Zardes and Maxi Urruti aside, can we not have that same perspective and understand that Maxi probably, we don't know this. I'm not in Josh Wolff's head. We're not in the coach's offices. But doesn't it make sense that maybe he did not play last night so he can play the full 90 this coming Saturday, excuse me. That's what depth is fucking for.
Yeah.
It's what it's for. So, again, same with Diego. Would I have liked to see I told you in the 60th, I think, last night, I would love to see Maxi come on right now.
Yeah.
It's not we are not upset. We are not calling for Maxi to not play. No. We want Maxi to play. We love Maxi. We've said that now 4 pods in a row.
Yeah.
We got to understand how this rotation is to start the year. Dude, if the results at the 9 persist like this through 10 games, then maybe we will call for Maxi to be more of the regular starter. But again, have fucking patience. And part of this comes from the majority of fans having no frame of reference for how a season works, not just in soccer, but across all professional and collegiate sports. It is an up and down ride, no matter where you end up at the end of the year. And as fans, I'm not look, fan is short for fanatic. We are all a little bit crazy. If you're sitting here listening to us talk about Austin FC, you're a little bit crazy with us too. And we love that about you. But let's fucking pull back on the reins a little bit when we don't have a good night. We cannot act like the sky is fucking falling and call for people last night trying to blow up the whole thing. Fire the coach, bench Gyasi Zardes. What are we doing? What are we talking about?
Yeah.
And this thing strike 1, strike 2. What are we fucking playing baseball? What are you talking about? Josh Wolff is the coach for multiple years to come. Get it through your heads. Get it through your heads. You cannot just look. You can sit here and look like a fucking fool calling for the coach to be fired every time you get a little bit frustrated as a fan. That's not how this works. It's not.
No.
Sorry.
And it's not how it should work. We're 5 games in, y'all.
We're 3 games in. 3 games in, right? If we're just talking about the season, because CCL, US Open Cup, it's an undetermined amount of games. We are guaranteed 2 CCL. Now we're done. Which, if we're not going to win that tournament, again, I understand the embarrassment. And yes, I wanted to move on too. But you can look at this from a positive angle and say, okay, if we're not going to win CCL, there's no consolation. It's not like we make it through 1 or 2 rounds and we automatically get back in next year. So now we get to save our legs and continue to move forward.
Yep.
The world is not over. The season is just beginning.
Absolutely. The focus needs to shift. The CCL, it's over. We lost. It was disappointing. We're all upset about it. now we need to shift focus. And like you said, the process of a long season, that's one of the most important and determining factors on if you're going to be a good team, is if you can move past the high highs and if you can move past the low lows and kind of just continue straight on and know that there is an end goal in sight. All right. Now, obviously, this is a unique situation in regard to my fanhood, maybe some other people's fanhood in Austin FC, where there's all these different trophies are available, and you kind of have to figure out how you want to navigate that, which ones you want to put more emphasis on. And again, I don't think Coach wasn't taking this not like seriously.
Right. I think he got a little bit too cute, right? Like I think
he got a little too cute. And that's a pitfall when you're a coach, that you can just try to rely on that.
Absolutely.
But sometimes you got burned. We got burned. We did.
Mm-hmm. Last one here, I think, for me, before we just go ahead and move on from that disastrous trip to CCL. Don't want to upset our buddy Adrian Healy. I don't want to call it a run again. The fact that any one person has the audacity to bring up Josh Wolff and him playing his son less than 72 hours after what Owen Wolff did on Saturday. You're just outing yourself as a moron.
You're just outing yourself as somebody who doesn't watch the games. Like, it's just the lowest hanging fruit, and we knew it was going to be picked repeatedly this season.
Yeah.
And look, man, shit, we might have unleashed Alex.
Sure. He's been fucking great.
Best position.
Yeah, right.
Like, for real.
Maybe he's a center back at this stage of his career. Absolutely.
And the other thing I did want to touch on when you were just going off there and just firing was the age of our strikers. All three of them are over 30 years old.
Yeah, older guys.
They are older. They have to be managed in a different kind of way. Would I love to have a younger dude who we could just like throw out there? And, if CJ's fucking healthy, was he playing in Violette? Like, what's going on with that? I mean, like, those guys, the age of those guys was particularly hard to navigate in this stretch of games here. Now, for some more, I will have a little criticism for Coach here. I think we could have pivoted to the dual strikers earlier.
Yeah.
It was all on the line at that point.
Sure.
And to your point, I think the only way that the Urruti substitution pattern could be a failure is if Urruti wasn't ready to go and do 75 to 90 in Houston. You know what I mean? Like, if the only way I didn't explain that very well, and I apologize. I hope other people followed along. But it can only be made a mistake if then we compound it and didn't play Maxi. Then there'd be something would be up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Dude, maybe we're sitting here Sunday night and Maxi doesn't play a ton, and doesn't start, and then I'm gonna be like, what is going on?
For sure, exactly. But we're not at that point right now.
I would also note that Maxi Urruti is not only not good at headers, like it's not his thing, but the one header he scored last year, he celebrated more vigorously than anything else because the coaching staff had been working with him so much on his headed finishes. So
and that's why we got ruined.
For sure. For sure. And anyways, I just don't think the tactics at all. Like, I saw people saying, the cross and pray it just doesn't work. It's like, what else are you supposed to do? We're going to try to pass through the 10 guys in the box. We tried that a few times. It didn't work very well. Yeah. You're triple, if you go try to find space in the box, you receive the ball, all of a sudden you're triple teamed immediately. And again, I don't have the level of soccer knowledge to know about what's the best way to attack this when we are coming through the air from either side of the box? Like, do we group the guys together? Do we spread them out? I don't know that answer. But I know for sure that the best way to try to score last night was crossing the ball in like we did. Because
they weren't even guarding the guys on the wings.
Yeah. And again, that's the way they're defending. The way they're defending puts you, I imagine, into some sort of tactical bind. There's only so many things you can do against that.
For sure.
And again, go ahead.
One thing that was interesting, and maybe just a byproduct of the way that they played, was that Owen and Danny felt very much like detached from our attack.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that was probably just due to how they were playing the game and retreating and mucking it up as much as possible. And they didn't have those chances to be like dynamic in space that we have been so proud of. You
can't break lines if there's no lines.
Exactly. All right. So have we washed our hands of this tournament? Are we?
Yeah, hey, you said it last time. You fucking hate that tournament. And so like, look, I hope we're back next year somehow, some way, right? We still have plenty of opportunities to get there, and the field is expanding, I believe, going forward in CCL. So, we got it out of the way. It's in our rear view now. Let's look forward. But before we look forward, let's look backwards a little bit, because the Claudio Reyna investigation results came out, or the findings, whatever the correct term is here. So it's time for us to do some backtracking. Because we were very staunch in our stance that defense, standing up for Claudio, because until, like we said, there is evidence or not of the allegations of blackmail, this and that, and that will come out if there is evidence. So let's withhold judgment on Claudio as like, hey, get the fuck out of our club until we see that. And like, man, I've said this a lot over the last week. I'm disappointed in Claudio, disappointed in his wife and the things that they were texting. It's childish. It's, as somebody, again, like, man, the amount of stories I could tell you, the lengths that parents go to, like, these two are not like, they are not like in some elite god tier of like bad sport parents. When I was coaching, man, I had parents from the women's team put their hands on me trying to fight me because I was having to step in between them and the women's coach about playing time. I had parents send me encrypted emails with fake names. I got letters in the mail to my office from parents impersonating scouting services. Like, there are so many crazy people out there. I'm not absolving them of anything. And I am very much, I assume you are as well, because we haven't talked that much about this outside of being like, well, shit, right? Like, it was as bad as people said it could be.
Absolutely.
Whatever position he's in now as the like advisor or whatever, get him out now. Like, he's not coming back. We don't want him here. And I hope that he can have a lot of reflection and improve himself as a parent, as a member of a team. Like, this is just some of the things he said, especially, and then like the sexist remarks about the female official. It's just insane, man.
Insane, moronic.
Yes.
You don't text someone a blackmail.
No,
you don't. You especially don't like use your own phone if you're going to just so
leave the paper trail.
Yeah, like just so incredibly stupid. And I was very staunch in my defense of Claudio, and we did have the caveat of let's wait for more things to come out, and now they have come out, and he 100% has to be removed from the team.
Yeah, has to be.
And I would be surprised if he ever gets.
He ain't working in soccer again.
Type of
not
position
at the professional level.
No, he can't. And I mean, sucks for Gio too. Just like embarrassing. So yeah, a really terrible situation. And then for him to throw in the misogynistic shit about the refereeing was just,
I mean, for him he said, and in all honesty, can we get real and have male refs for a game like this, referencing a game that Gio played in 2018? A game, it's embarrassing, guys. What are we trying to prove? A game like this deserves better attention. It's just, come on, man. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Bro, I do not know what, like I said, you don't text someone blackmail. I don't know what this man was thinking, bro?
And did you see the statement from their agent that was like written on the fucking notes app?
Yeah, that was Buddy thought
Bro,
he was helping.
He brings up apparently they lost a son to cancer in 2013 who was a young teen, like 13-year-old kid. That's horrible.
It's awful.
What does that have to do with what Claudio said or what they did during the World Cup?
That's awful.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah,
it's not an excuse. You're using that
almost as awful to try to use that as an excuse.
Yes.
Not almost as awful, but it's another category of awful to try to bring that in and be like, oh yeah, by the way. It's like, well, all right.
I don't know, man. I mean, again, I think it's another thing that like certainly isn't past us yet. Because like, and he might just be like let go from this advisor role without a statement. It might just happen quietly. I don't know.
I don't know if he gets a statement in this. I don't know if he deserves one.
He definitely doesn't. We already gave him one when they made the transition to make Rubio interim sporting director, and like, I don't know. We can have conversations about Sean Rubio and the direction of the front office on a later podcast, but just had to address that and backtrack. Like, again, I think one thing you and I can maybe pride ourselves upon, if we don't already, is like the ability to change our opinion when new material, new evidence, new information is brought to our attention and comes to light. And we said it at the time. We could look real foolish. And I think we do a little bit now for defending him, but I would do it again in that circumstance. We didn't have the evidence. Now we have it. And, we're moving on. So
washing our hands of this one too.
Yeah, that's the theme so far.
Shower. A whole shower on this one.
We do have a solid Austin FC 2 last business day segment here today.
That's
though,
true.
Because
it's changed the vibe a little bit.
Yeah, we talked about we got a little bit of the social media action the other day, some pictures from the game against Richland that Austin FC 2 won 3-1. And we talked about that schedule coming very soon. The schedule did drop yesterday afternoon. As we knew before, 28 matches in this next pro season, 14 home and away. We've got confirmation now that the team will indeed play these games at Palmer Field at the pitch across the little, median street or whatever you want to call it there from the St. David's Performance Center. And we've got confirmation that it will cost to get admission to these games, which, man,
let's get rapid about that.
Yeah, I can. I'm already on edge. Let's do it.
Where are the fans? Let's get a little outrage going there. Y'all think you can get a coach fired by tweeting shit? let's tweet about that.
I mean, for real, like,
make your money off the concessions.
Exactly. And like, how expensive are the tickets going to be? Because I imagine like the demand is certainly I guess I'm just speaking for myself here. The demand in my mind for me to go to as many games as I possibly can is way lower now because we're already spending so much money going to Q2 every other week. And I don't get it. Unless the tickets are like $5, then okay, maybe. But it doesn't feel like the fact we're doing a season ticket holder pre-sale for a field with some stands. Like, this is not an arena or a stadium or anything. There's like maybe 1,500 seats there. And maybe I'm off on that, but I'm pretty sure that's right around the number, maybe less. And we're selling, like, we're doing a season ticket holder pre-sale. Like, what if there's enough demand where all the season ticket holders buy all the tickets? Then everybody else has to buy through SeatGeek and pay fucking SeatGeek or Ticketmaster fees or whatever the hell to go see a next pro match. And then you're paying Q2 concession prices over there at the pitch. Like, it just, I don't know, man. There you go. I'm riled up about it.
All right. Luke is riled up now too.
Let's turn our attention to the schedule here for a little bit. Some of the other information surrounding this release. Austin FC 2 will be part of the 7-team Frontier division in Next Pro. So I imagine, I think there's 28 teams. Obviously 29 MLS teams. I believe there's 28 MLS Next teams. So I imagine it's 4 7-team divisions here in the Frontier division alongside Austin FC 2. is Colorado Rapids 2, Sporting Kansas City 2, Houston Dynamo 2, which they refer to as Dynamo Dos, North Texas SC. So we'll have a little revenge match for our boy David Rodriguez there. That was his original club, I believe, North Texas SC. Minnesota United 2, and St. Louis City 2. So maybe we make sure we go to the St. Louis one and let those next pro boys that we don't like them. We don't like St. Louis City here. Okay. We have the home opener. It's also the season opener, March 24th. So about 10 days from now against Dynamo Dos, 8 p.m. That is a Friday night match. So we'll see if we make it out to that one. Obviously, there is an Austin FC game the next night. But I think for the home opener, we'll probably make an effort to get out there and watch the guys in their first ever match. They then go on the road at SKC2 on April 2nd, back home against Tacoma Defiance. That is the Portland Timbers next pro affiliate. That's April 7th. So again, you can find that schedule on the Austin FC2 Twitter handle, I believe, also at austinfc.com. And despite our frustration with the fact that they're charging admission here, would encourage those who can to get out there, support the young guys, and, maybe bring somebody with you. Try to, create some new Austin FC fans, even though these games didn't end up being free. Anything else for you on last business day?
Happy for that squad. Ready to go see them. Take a look, see what they got. And definitely encourage people to go as well. Yeah.
CCL taking place or continuing tonight. Orlando City did get a pretty valiant draw at Tigres last week. Currently sitting at halftime, Tigres have gone up 1-0. So Orlando now needs 2 goals as Tigres gets that away goal. So a big blow there to Orlando. LAFC Alajuelense tonight. LAFC obviously up 3-0 on aggregate. Probably going to be a pretty easy coast into the first round finish line for them. Real España did beat Vancouver last night, or earlier today, excuse me. That was earlier this evening, 3-2, but Vancouver advances on aggregate 7-3. Like I said earlier, Atlas completed the comeback over Olympia 4-0 yesterday to win 5-4 on aggregate. Philadelphia, 4-0 at home, wins 4-0 on aggregate. And then tomorrow, Leon and Taro finish up their 2 legs, and Pachuca and Motagua finish up their 2 legs. So, we'll keep an eye on CCL going forward, but obviously less of an eye now that we are not participating anymore. But I'm still excited to see, and to be honest, I'm going to continue to just cheer on the MLS teams in that tournament and raise the profile of the league, even if we could not contribute to that at all this year.
We did our part dragging it down.
2 pieces of news here. Seattle Sounders gave Nuhu a 3-year extension. So, just continuing their success, I think, as a franchise since their inception in 2009, adding or keeping Nuhu on for an extra 3 years. Definitely don't like to see that as a potential rival of theirs in the Western Conference, but I think good business there for Seattle. Gregor, as I believe how you pronounce this, he's the captain for Inter Miami. Lisfranc injury. He's out 6 months. So definitely a huge blow to an Inter Miami team that has been hot to start the year.
That's true. Yeah.
And you really hate to see that for any team, for any player. But especially for Miami, who was sitting on 6 points through 3 matches. We might talk about Miami later when we get to the betting picks. Last piece of news here, and we'll certainly bitch about this some more when we get to the best ball recap in a minute. Lorenzo Insigne, setback with his soft tissue injury, will miss at least 3 or 4 more matches. So let's get into the Houston preview before we close it out with the best ball update and our week 4 betting picks. This, Ian, is my favorite preview to do because Austin has won first, last, and most against Houston. 5 all-time meetings in MLS regular season play. The first time at Q2, August 4th, 2021, Austin won that one 3-2. I believe Houston also picked up a red card in that match. The next time out, September 11th, 2021, Houston, 3-0 shutout in Houston. A dark day for Austin FC and therefore the world, but they have certainly made mincemeat of this Houston Dynamo team since. 2-1 victory at home, October 24th, late in the 2021 season, and then clean sweep last year. Austin 2-1 in Houston, April 30th of 2022. Shout out Danny Pereira, his first ever MLS goal in that one. Driussi, banger for the win from just outside the box. And then 3-1 at home, July 12th. Carrasquilla gets the early goal, getting past Julio Cascante, but Diego Fagundes answers shortly thereafter with the first free kick goal in Austin FC history. And they go on a tear from there, winning 3-1. So all-time Austin 4-1 against Houston Dynamo, looking to make it 5 victories this Saturday. So let's talk about our lineup predictions and desires. I'll throw it to you, or I'll fire it at you, E. What type of rotation do you think we see, if any, coming into Saturday? And then what do you want to see?
I do want to see Maxi Fergiassi.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how the game should start.
Yeah, he's fresh.
He's fresh. He's ready to go. I think, obviously, like you said, Diego should be starting. Obviously, rolling with the GOAT man. Got to keep Alex back there. He's playing too well to take him out. We hinted on this to expect heavy rotation of him at the center back position, but it looks like he has firmly taken that spot. I think we'll probably see Valencia for one of the two, the Danny Owen pair. I'm not entirely sure right now. I might have to. Neither of them came out last night.
I don't believe so. No, let me double check that.
Although one fan did ask for Owen to be subbed out for Urruti.
I mean, it could be fair. Like, get more attackers up front. Like, that is a lot less ridiculous than saying take Owen Wolff off the field because he's the coach's son. No, neither of those guys came out. Can I interest you in some Sophie Jeffel in the defensive midfield?
You know, I love me some Valencia.
You do. I do too. Like, I still think, the upside I think is still there, even though we haven't seen very much of it. But Jeffel looked I thought he was one of our only bright spots last week in the first leg.
He's good. He's going to see some time, and that's getting a little crowded there now. Yeah, with the amount of guys that I really like, trying to rotate in that position.
To have
Lima start.
Yeah, I agree. And then, can we Lundqvist start revenge match?
I think you should Lundqvist start for sure.
Yeah.
I think he should. I think he needs to start this game.
If not him, give me Johnny G.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm with that. And then really, how much Rigoni are we going to get? Is what it kind of comes down to for me at the end.
Sure, I would like to start Rigoni. Obviously, start Diego. I'm with you on Maxi up top. Driussi play again as long as he's good to go. Give me Rigoni. I think he's been playing well. Yeah, and he just got his first assist. Let's let him get his first goal against fucking Houston. Rub it in their faces.
Love it. We got so much material ready to go for that first Rigoni goal. It's just been he's given us long enough to stack it up.
I know. We've been able to brainstorm. Yeah. All right. Well, score predictions. I know you're not picking a fucking Austin draw or loss against Houston, so how much are we winning by on Saturday?
God, that team sucks.
Yeah, they do.
I'm going to go 3-1.
3-1.
I think they score on us again. I mean, obviously, it's just hard to have a lot of confidence in that back line.
Although the back line, the pairing of Leo and Alex, it's not fair to include last night when they weren't threatened at all, I don't think. But
yeah,
they've given up one goal in the last 180 minutes together between Montreal and RSL. It's not like Houston's bringing the big guns compared to those teams.
No, they have been solid, but still, I just think, I'm not super confident in our ability to get a clean sheet here.
Sure.
Especially in a rivalry game. They're going to be up for it. They're going to be looking for their first win. They're going to be hungry. So we got to bounce back. We got to respond. And I see Austin winning this game 3-1.
You give me 3-2. Similar thoughts there. I think this one is going to be a little bit up and down. We've got some tired legs in the Austin ranks. But I do think that they come out on top here because I do like these guys. Our guys we know they're all over our social media, which, by the way, like I told you, I think I found a burner earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not him, it's somebody very close to him. We don't have to talk about that any further. But these guys see everything that we say, or at least like the general mood around the team. And, these guys are freaking, Twitter searching, Googling their own names to see what people are saying about them. Yeah. So I think they come out extra motivated, not like you need extra motivation going up against Houston, but I do think they get it done. I just think it is a little bit of an up and down match score-wise, but 3 points nonetheless. So there you have it, 3-1 for E, 3-2 for me. And now let's wallow in our sorrows. That is our best ball team. Week 3 recap. We definitely reveled in the opportunity after week 2 to talk some shit on the Moon Tower Soccer Boys. And the best ball guides punished us.
That's a fact.
Especially having to watch Denny Bouanga put down the hammer on the rest of the league in the Sunday night game after it was like, okay, like we're going to lose some ground this week, but it's not going to be too dire. And then 19 from Bouanga. Moon Tower wins week 3 with 52 points. Let me pull up.
Sorry for performance from Bouanga, though. Holy shit.
Dude, and that's coming off his hattie against Alajuelense in the first leg. Like, I'm pretty sure he was 2 goals and an assist on Sunday against New England.
Scorching.
Yeah, got it here now. Yeah, 2 goals, assist, 4 key passes, 2 big chances created, 5 shots, 19 best ball points. They paired him with Jeremy Abobasi. He only had 4. Like, it was a relatively tame week for Moon Tower outside of Bouanga. They now have caught the 2 largest performances so far this season in 20 from Gazdag in week 1, 19 from Bouanga here in week 3. Definitely helped Bouanga that our boy, Carlos Vela, did not start. He was the one that got rotated. So that was a crushing blow at the end of the week. Their midfielders, Shaqiri gets 5, Mukhtar gets 8, back in the 11 there for Nashville. Jack Elliott gets 9, and Joe Willis, I believe, has not been scored on yet. So they have cashed Joe Willis 3 weeks in a row, 7 points for the Nashville keeper. Texas Ring of Fire, shout out RB22.
Facts.
Improving week over week, 48 points in week 3. Got 8 each from Jose Cifuentes and Brunner up front. Got 10 from Christian Espinoza and 9 from Danny Pereira. If you remember, Danny was the replacement for Emmanuel Reynoso. So I'm not going to say that RB did anything but pick just one of his favorite players. But Danny has now scored for this team twice in 3 weeks. And so a good pick.
We need a good pick. We need to get a
we
good
need,
pick.
Yeah, we need that transfer window that's still like 4 months away. Miles Robinson, 9 points on the defensive side for Texas Ring of Fire, 4 from Martin Pass in net. We Are Austin TV, 39 points. So a little bit down week from them from what they've been used to the first 2 weeks, but still a very respectable performance, essentially 40. 3 from Zardes, 3 from Swiderski, 11 from Thiago Almada, who is in the running, I think, for not just best ball MVP at this point, but maybe league MVP. Like, Atlanta looks pretty good right now. He's the engine on that team. Jose Martinez gave them 8. Walker Zimmerman continues to crush, 10 points from Zim. Helps to get that clean sheet bonus in the first 3 weeks running. Extra 5 points, doubling his score there. Sean Johnson picked up 4 in net. And then our bum-ass team right now. Look, we're going to be back, but we're hurting right now.
Fire the coach.
Taxi Founta still out at least 3 to 4 more weeks. Now Insigne out 3 to 4 more games after he was expected back this week. So we are down to 3 healthy forwards once again. Carlos Vela rotated. Enzo Copetti lost points. Somehow he was at 1. Carlos Vela had 1. Cucho, our big-time forward, 3 points for Columbus. Midfield didn't get much better. Ricky Pooch, 5. Nico Ladero, 2. We got 10 points from all 3 of our defenders. Alas, you can only start 1. So Kai Wagner is the one that scored for us 10 points. Georgi Petrovic, 4 goals against. So the 8 saves, the 14 balls recovered, not enough to get us over that, even the 25-point threshold. He picks up 3 points, 24 points for us in week 3. I really hope that's our low mark for the season because we are now falling behind. We are in last, 113 points. Texas Ring of Fire leapfrogs us into third, 125 points on the season. We are Austin TV and Moon Tower swap spots. We are Austin now in second, 142. Moon Tower back on top, 152. So I said last week I was excited for week 3. I don't know if I can say the same this week with only 3 forwards going in, but we scored no goals and no assists across our team last week. I don't think that happens again this season.
Let's hope not.
Let's get to a little bit happier topic for you and I, at least last week. Barely under the profit line there, minus 0.12 units, but cashed Nashville minus 120 at home versus Montreal. Missed on the Sounders plus 215 at Cincy. They lost 1-0. Hit on Austin on the road at RSL plus 205. And then we lost, obviously, that Revolution bet at LAFC plus 475. Would have been nice. Like, I don't think we missed the news early that Carlos Gil wasn't going to play, but he did not start. He came in late in the match and then got re-injured, it looked like. So they got walloped out there. Now minus 2.67 units on the season. Let's get into the week 4 picks here. I'm feeling good. Like we dug in a little bit deeper. We're going. We got some different type of bets here this week. So our first one that we're going to hit here, we are keeping this one simple. Philadelphia, obviously playing that second leg last night against Allianz, I believe, was their opponent. Nice and easy, 4-0 win. They are on the road to Montreal this week, a Montreal team that has not scored a goal yet this season. Philly, plus 165 at Montreal. Let's lock that in.
Absolutely. Tough team to try to get your first goal against.
Yeah, Philly coming to town. Let's stay with the good guys.
Yep.
Austin, plus 175 at Houston to get the win. We both predict the win, so why aren't we taking the bet? We will. We'll lock that in, plus 175.
Definitely like that one.
And let's put the money where our mouth is. We keep saying, like, we're obviously staunch in our defense of Gyasi Zardes as the starter at this point of the season. The goals will come. He will be fine. We will be fine. But we've got a fresh Maxi Urruti. Not just a fresh Maxi Urruti, hungry, making Instagram posts pointing to the name on the back of his shirt. He's ready to go. He's ready to show Josh Wolff and everybody that he should be playing more time. That maybe some of these guys calling for Maxi Urruti to be the full-time starter, he's trying to prove them right.
Facts.
So we're going to take Maxi Urruti, anytime goal scorer against his old team, plus 230. Let's go, Maxi.
Love that.
Toronto, obviously still without Lorenzo Insigne, but they have Miami coming to town, who just lost their captain. Okay, So we are going to take Toronto to win and over 1.5 total goals scored in the match. That's plus 145. Toronto to win and over the 1.5 goal total in this game. How do you feel about that one?
I like it just because those guys got it. I mean, they have enough talent on that team to be a very formidable squad. Obviously, Insigne out, but Bernadeschi not playing super great.
Right.
They've been relying on a bit more of their role players. But looking, when you take a chance like that, it's with this squad, you're looking at the talent, and they definitely have more than enough to get this done on the road here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll, that's kind of our first. We went anytime goal scorer with Maxi, making this nice little combo bet here. Let's just go back to the straight sides here. Let's talk this out a little bit.
Okay.
Cincinnati coming off a well-fought home win, 1-0 over Seattle. Now they go to Chicago. And I do think Chicago, right, like Kai Kamara is there now. He's a dangerous goal scorer. I think second all-time now. No lower than third all-time MLS goal scorer. Xherdan Shaqiri is there, obviously still uber talented. So it's not like they are without some bite in their attack. But I do still think they are very much a spoon contender this year. And Cincinnati is the opposite at this point, sitting on 7 points through 3 matches. They're plus 165. Do you feel okay about taking them at Chicago here?
Absolutely.
Okay.
They're one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, I agree with you.
They're fucking good.
Yeah.
And Brenner is one of the most talented players in the league. And
Vasquez hasn't even gotten going yet.
Yeah, but Chicago is a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
They're bad.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah, I'm on board with that.
Cincy plus 165, we'll lock that in. And okay, look, I know, especially like maybe it's more me than you.
Okay.
I don't like these St. Louis City guys. I made that clear on the last episode.
I know.
San Jose visiting St. Louis. Introduce the true chaos to St. Louis City. Let's see how they handle it. San Jose, plus 260 to win.
Juicy.
Yeah, but okay, so what do you think about this, right? Like, we know San Jose will snatch 3 points from you quicker than you can blink and turn it into a tie when it shouldn't be. They can also go the other way. Like, I can totally see them up this entire match, making a mistake at the end and letting St. Louis back into it, whether it's a draw or a St. Louis 4th straight comeback victory. So maybe we go a little bit safer here.
Okay.
And we say San Jose to win or tie is minus 115. So St. Louis, the tail beginning kind of comes to a little bit of a halt here. As long as St. Louis doesn't win, minus 115, San Jose to win or tie. I think I like that a little bit better than just going all out San Jose to win. Because like the environment in St. Louis is still gonna be a party.
You said it was plus 250 for the straight
plus
win?
260 straight up, and then minus 115 for win or tie.
I'll take them straight up.
Straight up? Okay. I'm gonna go the other way. I guess I'm gonna wuss out a little bit, and that'll be our first split. Right, yeah. So we can start keeping our own records against each other. There's our first head-to-head bet. Hopefully, it's just a win for San Jose. We both win, and you just make a little bit more profit there.
Nothing wrong with that in my book.
Right. Well, there's the Week 4 betting picks. Philly plus 165 to win at Montreal. Austin plus 175 to win at Houston. Maxi Urruti plus 230 anytime goal scorer. Toronto to win against Miami at home and over 1.5 goals in the game, plus 145. FC Cincinnati plus 165 to win at Chicago. I am taking San Jose to win or tie at St. Louis, minus 115. Ian taking San Jose to win straight up, plus 260. Those are the Week 4 betting picks. And that will do it for us here on episode 38 of the North End podcast. The ADHD episode, the rage episode, whatever you want to call it. We got some of that off our chest. We move forward to our rivalry match against Houston on Saturday. E, anything else you want to say before we wrap things up?
I do feel a little better.
Good.
I do feel
just
a little better.
Listening to me yell? I mean,
I got in there. It's cheaper than therapy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, all right, everybody. If you've got 5 seconds to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast, wherever you get your podcast, we would greatly appreciate it. If you are watching on the YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button. You can hit the notification bell to know when a live stream pops up or a new episode goes live. And please help us battle the YouTube algorithm overlords. Atone for your sins. Wash yourself clean in the waters of the North End. Hit that thumbs up, like the video, and keep tuning in. We'll be back on Sunday after the Houston match, breaking down everything there, previewing the Colorado match, which we didn't talk about this. Leo Väisänen, congratulations, young man. Called up to the Finland national team for the Euro 2024 qualifiers. As we expected, at some point, we just didn't really have the international break on our calendar, so he will miss that Colorado match. We'll talk about that and everything else this coming week. Appreciate you tuning in. This has been the North End Podcast, episode 38. For E, I'm Zach. Vamos Austin FC, everybody. Goodbye.